this, is it worth it? You know, is it worth it? Is the fight worth it? I think about that. I think about that a lot. Is it worth to fight? And I think about the various different elements in humanity that have been placed in order to kind of numb us and in order to the various different layers that have been placed in order to just keep us in a docile kind of mentality as things are being manipulated and being moved by people. And all of a sudden, there's pipelines everywhere, and the Mother Earth is being drained of its blood. Um, and how did we get here? How did we get here? And I think it's through apathy. I think we just let it happen. I think we just kind of sat back and said, I'm going to let it happen. And we chose to keep our head in the sand. I think that it made us comfortable that other people were making choices on our behalf, and I think that in a lot of ways greed got involved. I think that a lot of these people didn't fully understand what they themselves even were getting involved with, and their own karmic experiences were brought to surface through greed, and perhaps they think that there's no social or spiritual ramification from what they're doing to the earth. There is. And all those questions. I mean, even if they don't think there are spiritual ramifications for what they do, the question becomes for me, like, how do you reach people? How do you, and ultimately everybody says, worry about yourself, not worry about yourself, but, kind of change yourself. Change yourself. That's what everybody tells you. Change yourself and the rest will change. But there's people that have changed themselves. You know what I mean? Like, they've changed themselves, but the world still didn't change. It still sucks for the rest. There's still children missing. There's still child abductions and people doing horrible things to people around the world. So I'm glad that you changed. But, you know what I mean? So I think all those questions arise in humanity. Yeah, I think that I care. I think maybe I care a little too much. Because I get sensitive. I get sensitive about all, and it becomes an overload, and it's just like, especially I think this election, I think this election has really shaken a lot of us up, and brought us to a realization as to what really America is, and how television has really divided us, and how our numbness and keeping involved in our own thing has really shown us what the world is all about. And perhaps what's really beautiful about this election is it allowed us to have this conversation. It allowed us to have this conversation with other people. I think that's what's really. I heard that Prince Iya is a gentleman who does videos. He's really a great guy, and I'm sure you know who he is. If you don't, Google him. And he's a musician and whatnot. So, what do you think about this election? What do you think about the state of the world? What do you think about, is it worth it? Sometimes I get these emails and people say, call this number in order to protest, or sign this thing, and send this thing, and make sure to let your name be known. And I think to myself, is it worth it? Are the people going to hear when I call? Do they care? And I think to a spiritual degree, I think it's important that you call, because it's important that you make your voice be known out in the ethereal universe. Of course, it's important to do the actions as well, and to what degree of actions are you willing to do in order to, save other people and the rest of the universe and the rest of the world. I think that those are crucial questions that are called to being within your own soul, right? I think that we're at a critical time. I think that we can all agree to that, regardless of whatever religion you believe in. I think we can agree to that, right? So what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with what I've said? I've said a lot of stuff. Take notes and let me know. All right. I wish you a wonderful year. Take care.